Hey guys, welcome to the alternate plan with me for week 44. So this will be the week in my Just Scribble plans. I've got the plans into a cover now because I am taking it in and out of the house. So I used to have this just loose out of the cover. I've put it in the cover just so that it's protected. I don't like to take my planners naked out into the world. You never know what's going to happen. So for anybody who joined the live plan with me, I say that I had to pause before I said the word live because my goodness, there were a lot of problems this week. But we finally got everything planned here and it's great. I really like the colors. I think I'm going to use the same color palette in the plans this week, but I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And we will start over here in this plans. So let me get to the beginning of November so that I can work my way backwards here. So one of the things I'm actually going to put a clip here because I do have some work notes and I don't know whether they can be seen or not. I don't really have too much that's, um, you know, secretive, I guess, for lack of a better word, but I don't really want to show all the work notes because that's not necessarily my um, information to share with the world. So let's go ahead and create something similar to this. This was fantastic during the week. I really, really enjoyed it. And as much as I do like this kind of block in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and use the same colors and do it similar to this week where I have the individual work days. We'll see how that goes. So let's go ahead and start here. We've got a little crease in our paper. All right. So we have our same little Archer and Olive washi with these little ghosts and our little cats with books. This one's got the little Grim Reaper and the little skull. Very, very cute. Very cute washi. So we'll go ahead and get that lined up right at 10 o'clock. And 10 o'clock over here. There we go. I have there kind of was bubbling the page and we don't want to get bubbles on the page. I know it's kind of a pain to fix it as you go, but if you do not fix those little kind of waffle areas on the page as you go along, eventually they do build up and it does get really bulky and things start to wrinkle and not look so nice. So I want to make sure you take care of those as you're going along. We will also get this little bat washi in on the weekend because that is super cute. I absolutely love that little bat washi with the holographic imagery. So if you didn't join the live, this bat washi has got these holographic bats on them. So as you kind of turn it, you can see different colors in the silver. And then the ghost washi down here, that is just the silver. I don't believe that that's got the color in it as well. It might, but it's harder to see, probably because most of them are very slim, um, smaller areas, whereas on the bat, it's a bit larger area and you can see that color a little bit more. One of the other things that we did is we added in a weekend sticker. Now I don't have that same color that I used before, so let me get out the second sheet. I think there was a color on this second sheet that would work pretty well with our blue. So I'm going to take a quick look over here. See, I think that color would work, so with that one, but I think I want to go with the darker. So we're going to use this little weekend sticker here because it goes with this blue marker, the blue Tombow. Now, it's rare that I will kind of remake the exact same color palette in from one book to the next, because usually I'm using, if I'm doing a second spread, it's kind of an experimental spread in a different book because I'm trying things out. But this week I'm not trying anything out. I just really need something functional for work in this book because I just don't have room in the sterling ink to have all of my work notes. So I need something I can take to work. I need it to be useful. And so that is what this is for. This was hugely useful at work. I love having these trackers here. That was very, very helpful. So we're going to go ahead, and I find that I don't need the whole calendar up here. I don't need to see, so let me get this book out again. This has this little calendar every single week. The thing is, I have a full calendar tabbed that I can look at anytime I want. So I don't really need to have a little version of it here. I'm not doing monthly planning on my week. So I really do actually appreciate having more space for kind of these functional items over here on the side. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in our work week, and I'm going to do it this way where the line goes down the side right here, and then I can put a dot at the bottom when I actually finish. So I'll show you what I mean by that on this first one. We're going to go a little bit slower and make it pretty because I have to write this over and over again. I'll be writing this 5 times this week. You know, normal work week. But I plan to work until 4. So I'm going to draw a line in this kind of no man's land over here. So on the Just Scribble, there is a little gap on the side here, and I'm going to fill that in with color. Just that little gap before the line and then the numbers. And so there's the line and then the numbers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces, and then that little tiny narrow gap. So that is going to end up being, for this week anyway, that will be my kind of timeline, my colored timeline of when I am doing whatever it is that I'm doing. So even though I'm using the same colors, we're going to do things a bit differently in this one. So it will look different than the sterling ink. So I did mention that in the other planning session that I am going to be going in this week at 8:30, or planning to get into the office, I should say, at 8:30. So that means I will stay until 4. I usually don't take a lunch. I'm not much of a lunch person. I'll go to lunch if the office is having lunch, things like that, but I am not one to, really uh, go and eat lunch or do something else in the middle of the day. I'd rather kind of get all my work done and come home at the end of the day. So there we go. Now we're going to turn the book so that I can see that little gap a little bit better. And on this side, because there's no gap, because there's no time thing, there's no line here for another column, I'm just going to put it on the outside, right along that outside line. I like having that little gap there because it feels like, so now when I put this in there, it feels intentional, and it feels like that's kind of meant to be a separate entity from the rest of the column. All right, so those are my work days, and I can always add more if I need them, if I need it. But I do have to, at least, I know I have to work 8 hours, so I know I'm going to be there at least that long. All right. Now we're going to put in, oops, this fell out. These are the holographic foil for the different years. I think she's going to have those again this week. So let's put that in since we know that's happening at 2 o'clock on Thursday. I'm going to do it in this bright color so that I see it. And bright color so I will see it, and kind of code so it doesn't have a big giant, hey, I'm going to shop for 5 minutes. It'll only take me 5 minutes. You have to be quick. It typically in the Coffee Monster Co. sales anyway. So I'm going to be quick with that. While we've got this open, I'm going to use this little kitty cat sticker. We talked about possibly using this on the other, but I ended up finding something else. On this one, I am going to use this. We're going to get that in there with the little kitty cats looking up at the fireflies. Very, very cute. So it'll have a little bit different feel. I did like this, the mushrooms that I used before. I used these, and they were very cute also, but I don't necessarily want to use all of one design, especially on these rolls. I'd like to kind of work my way through the roll and not necessarily use multiples of the same thing right at the beginning. So I am, I think, going to wrap these up. There we go. And we'll do a really quick tap here on this. I'm just kind of looking. So I had said on the live, when everything went sideways, that I would finish up and post as a premiere. But then when I went to post, YouTube did not even give me the option to post it as a premiere. So I ended up just having to upload as a regular video. And so I'm just kind of refreshing a little in case people wrote something in the comments, just so that I can be present, at least, like I said I would be. So next up, we're going to have our date night. So let's put that in. One of the things I notice about this particular pen is that it tends to, on the thin lines, tends to be a little bit thicker, or like super, super thin. I would like to go to the Silent Book Club. All right. So that is just until 8. And then I will be talking to my friend Kim during my drive on my way home. I don't need my directions anymore to get home, so I can have a conversation. And we usually have quite a lengthy conversation. So let's go ahead and put that till. We probably won't go quite that long, but I'm going to put it there just in case. Now, I am still going to put my driving. It's a little more than a half an hour. So I kind of cover that line just a little bit, so I'm not putting anything right above it. And then I do have to get home as well. Same thing, it's a little bit more than a half hour. And then in this case, I'm going to barely have time at home before I will have to go to Silent Book Club. I didn't put the driving time in for that in my other planner, but I will need that. So if I do decide I want to eat, I'm going to have to come home and eat really quickly. So we will put to Grove. I'm going to write this on every single day. This is kind of why I like doing this blocking style sometimes, because then I don't have to write it on every single day. Sometimes it gets to feel repetitive, but I do also like the way it looks, because then everything kind of has its own, every day has its own individual feel to it. So this day, the Silent Book Club I go to is in Eureka. you're ever in Missouri and you want to attend one of the silent book clubs, just drop me a comment and I'm happy to tell you where that happens. It's in a public place, so I can let you know where that is. But see, already this has a very, very different feel than this, just because of the style of the lettering. I am going to box in my plan with me. So I think I'm going to actually go on the outside here. Getting a little wild. And then have it kind of come around that letter, or that number. That is not a letter, that is a number. I do know the difference. And I'm going to do a drop shadow, very similar to, I ended up adding in a drop shadow for anybody who didn't see around here, and I kind of like that for this. So let's go ahead and add in that here. I don't often do that, but that kind of just highlights this particular section. And I'm going to write using my fountain pen that this is the plan with me live. So for any of you who want to join next week and see what the heck kind of fiasco my internet decides to throw at me next week, we'll be going right at 9 o'clock again. So there we have it. Let's see what else we put in. This is going to be Halloween. So I am going to see if maybe I have one of the other things I got in that same with these little cats is this really cute roll of washi, and it might say Halloween somewhere, a trick or treat maybe. Maybe we could put that in there. So I know it doesn't exactly work. This says Halloween. We could do that. Then that starts to cover up some of the little bats. You could put it down here. Let's see. Let's put it down here. But see, then I'm not going to have room for the other things that I want to do down here. And I'm already noticing that I have put this. Yeah, it's fine. That'll be fine. And there's the beginning of the repeat again. So let's see. Now you may have heard me in my other video looking for a bat, and one place I did not look was here, and this is where I have my little bats. I thought I had a bat somewhere. So let me take this and add it where I was going to add a bat. Right up in here. There we go. That was where I was looking for to kind of coordinate with this on this particular one. But we are going to, let's see, add in a little candle. Let's do this one with the flame sticking up. So we have this really cute candle and flame. And we'll add this here between the 2 days on that line. So that's really not going to interfere with anything that I might be adding to either Saturday or Sunday. And that's a really cute way to add some ephemera to, or some stickers to your planner. And then we said we were going to use Halloween. Here it is. So let's get that. We said we're going to put that down here. And I have book club. So I've got these super cute books in here. So let's, while we've got this out, let's go ahead and grab a book and add it to our book club night. Here, right here. There we go. Already I am liking this a little bit better, and it could be because it's my second time doing it. I do have something up here that I kind of want to up here. I'm going to write in something, and I'm going to kind of use that little star moon sticker here, and I'm going to write in that this is also Samhain. Okay. Now, for work on this day, I need to have a couple little dots for tasks. 1, 2. These are going to be at home tasks. I need to dress up. And I need to bring food. On that day. So we've got those in. And then we have a time change overnight here. I feel like that deserves a little sticker, maybe this potion bottle. Actually, no, I think I'm going to put the potion bottle up here with our plan with me. There we go. And we will just put in fallback over here. Fall back. I wish there was some kind of like pocket watch or time or something for falling back. But I'm not really seeing anything. All right. So one of the reasons that this was super effective for me last week was that I put in some trackers, and I really enjoyed having the trackers here. So we did work, sleep, and car. And obviously I haven't filled in Saturday or Sunday for any of these, but I will fill them in and then add my total hours. So I ended up with quite a few hours for the week because of here. And I think I actually hit 40 for this week, which is nice. And, how much time I spend in the car, how much time I'm sleeping, those kind of things. So let's get those in on this one. We're going to do work in the work color. And I am going to do similar. I keep on, whenever I'm putting this pen back in the cap, I keep missing and hitting my hand. It'll wash off really easily, but I think I'm going to do maybe 10 to 7 here. I do seem to be working a bit more than I expected. So let's say 10, 9, 8, 7. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Obviously, we hope that we're not working all of those days. So there we go. Now, the next one we will do is sleep. And I'm going to put sleep in this. Oh, we do want to put our total hours, though, don't we? So, work hours. So this is one of those things that when you're figuring out what to use this space for, I know a lot of times people get stuck in a system that they really, really like and they want to use the same thing over and over again. But really, you should only use the same thing over again if it makes sense for your current week. Don't be afraid to switch things up a little bit and move things around. So I am using the same setup because it does make sense with my current week. But if it didn't, I would probably not do the same thing again. I would change it up as I have done in the past. So I don't necessarily have to track my sleep because I do wear an Apple Watch and I wear it when I go to bed, so it tracks my sleep for me. The reason that I want to have this visual right now is because when I start a new schedule, like I am with this work week, or in the recent past, when I am not working, right? My sleep tends to be very erratic if I don't have a schedule. Or when I start a new schedule, I may have trouble getting to bed at a decent hour and getting up. And I want to see if I'm feeling tired, have something to correlate that to. So even though this information is in my watch, I want to see it in relation to this information. So that's why I want it here. So we will have 10, 9, and I'm writing this on the lines. 7, 6, 5, and 4 might seem like not enough, but sometimes I do only get 4 hours of sleep in a night. So it is possible. I occasionally have insomnia and deal with that kind of thing. So every once in a while, there'll be a week where that is the case, or a day, not a week, hopefully. but a day when I have insomnia and I just don't sleep very much. So again, this can be very erratic, so I need quite a bit of space for this. And so I want to figure out, for this, one of the big things I want to figure out is the average number of hours per night. And the reason is that I want to sleep a certain number of hours a night, but that needs to be an average. I'm not necessarily going to get exactly that every night, and that's okay. I can still function without that every single night. And then I'm going to use this gray color for the car. Because again, I do want to know how long I'm going to be in the car. So 2.5, 2 was what we did, and that worked well. So we'll try this again. There's nothing wrong with copying what you did the last week if it was helpful and it worked, but don't just add information to add information. You know, once I get used to how my weeks look with the commute, I'm not going to keep doing this car thing in the car indefinitely. That would just be at some point useless information. Right now it's helpful because this is all new, but eventually I'm not going to need to pay attention to that. I will know what my average commute week looks like and what my average time in the car is. And we will add this for the total number of hours spent in the car in this week. So we have plenty of room for all of those bits of information that we want to track. Now, because I have put decor down here and up here, there are certain things that are not going to fit. So I need here to have my 13, it's 13 weeks, right? Because this was 12 weeks. This is going to be my 13-week check-in. '13th week on YouTube. I'm going to write it like that so that I remember that that's a video. Here, I need to add 2. This is going to be my washi selection. And the plan with me notification. So those 2 videos happen on those days, on that, or now I've just touched it. Well, okay. So for people who are asking, on the plans, it is a bit slicker and it does take a little bit longer for my ink to dry. I have noticed that the fountain pen ink doesn't dry quite as quickly on this particular paper. It does dry in the same amount of time if I'm writing over the Tombow, because I think that the Tombow kind of mats the finish of the paper. This is a little bit slicker paper than, even though they're both the same brand of paper, this one just feels a little bit slicker than the Sterling ink book. Nothing wrong with that, but just be a little bit cautious when you're writing not to smudge like I just did there. So we have 2 other videos that we need to get in, and I'm going to put them right at the same levels. So we're going to do at 7 o'clock. We're, even though it's not going to upload at 7, we're going to put a video here, and then this video that I'm filming right now is going to be on Monday. So I can mark that off as done already. So this is going to be our alternate week 44. And I will mark this as done. Okay. So I'm not going to see that really clearly, but that's okay. And so now we have the YouTube information. I need to put a video there. I'm not sure what that's going to be quite yet. What other information do we want on this one in particular? I do want my weather to go in here. So let's put 56, 49, and then next we have 57, 48. And it is supposed to rain that day. Then 52, 43. And it's supposed to rain that day. 55, 38. 57, 36. I was saying when I was doing the planning in the Sterling ink that it makes me so sad when I see colder temperatures on Halloween, because when I was a kid, or 30, I'll just leave it as 38. That's fine. When I was a kid, I always used to get these costumes that I thought were so cute, and I was so excited to wear them, and then it would be cold, and I'd have to put a jacket over my costume, and that is the last thing that any kid wants, is to have to put a coat over their costume, and then you can't see anything. All right, so I feel bad for the kids. Hopefully it'll warm up just a little bit more in the afternoon so they can go coat free. We have Dress Up, Bring Food. We have the sale. I did not yet swatch my inks, so let's do that down here. But this is 757. This one is 379. This one is N65. And last but not least, we have N35. There we go. We have all of our colors for the week. And because I have some extra space on this one, I am going to find a couple little more decor items. That is one of the nicer things about having these kind of larger books. We are going to go take that little bat and put him over on Monday. There's another bat here. Having these larger spaces, a lot of people worry about trying to fill them. It just means you get to use some more cute stickers. And I have stuck my hair on there. I think it's going to be on there permanently because it is stuck under the sticker. Goodness. There we go. All right, well, there's some hair under that sticker. But one of the cute things is to get to use all of these different stickers. We spend so much time collecting these things, and then we don't always get to use them. So it is nice to have a chance to use them. Take another candle and stick it over here. Because I don't think I'm going to have something on Monday evening that will require a line. Maybe we find a place, because we have so many little ghosties. Let's find a place for this ghost here. Now these PET stickers, once you get them down, they are very hard to get up. So I caught it right before the end there. There we go. I just would like to keep it all on the one page is all. Have a little crystal ball. Add this down here. So I'm kind of looking for areas that might not have as much going on. I still have plenty of room to write in a title there. I didn't cover that space, so I have space for that. I'm trying to be mindful of the things that I know I'm going to have to add in, because there is always some of that. But it is nice to get to put in, like I could even put that there between these 2 days, or maybe I put it here, even though I do have a work thing there. Be kind of cute. Get the little tree in there. The only thing to be careful of is you can't write over the PET tape as easily. So you don't necessarily want to put it where you're going to need to put in a bunch of writing. Now I sometimes put work meetings, I write work meetings in on my calendar, and I did do that last week here. But realistically, or actually I didn't do that. Realistically, I will keep my work calendar electronically. And so I don't necessarily need to reference the paper calendar for things like meetings, but I do often add them in just as kind of a cursory item so that I can reference back very quickly if somebody's like, oh, remember that meeting that we had, and I don't have my computer handy, I can reference it very quickly. We have all these little footprints. Now, if these were a single thing, I might put them in here. But because they're not, because these are all kiss cut individually, I'm not going to put them along here. It's just too much work right now. But I see a cute little off-white pumpkin that I can add in. I'm trying to stay away from too many like solid orange things. So there's a lot of orange, really intense orange things in here. I might put something like this in because it has the purple, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to stick with these more muted colors, just to kind of keep things coordinated. I'm going to take this and put this between, see, I have this little gap here where the washi doesn't quite meet the writing. So I'm just going to put the candle there, kind of cover that up. I think that is all I'm going to do for right now. I suppose I could use little gravestones and stuff on either side of Halloween. Let's go ahead and add that. I keep saying I'm done, and then I find another little piece that I want to add. But that's the fun of it. It's your planner. You can add as much or as little as you want. So I'm just going to add one on each side of the word. There we go. And here I'm going to write that this is book club. All right. I think that is going to be it. We did put in a lot of decor. It's a lot more decor than I usually use. But it's so cute. This Halloween decor is adorable, and I don't get to use it most of the year. So we'll go ahead and make sure it's added in. You see this cute little kitty cat here? I'm gonna go ahead and add this very adorable little cat right here. Okay. And this book. Seeing things as I'm rolling this up. Sometimes PET tapes are hard to get off because the sticker part is so super thin. But I do have book club here, so that does make sense to have the little book up there, and that way the whole top has kind of got something all the way across it. I don't think I'm going to fill in here. I did not fill in anything here, so because I don't think I'm going to be doing that, I will go ahead and leave it kind of decorative instead. A couple main tasks up here, but those, I don't want to add my task list up in here. I have my task list on the day of. So that is the other thing that I think I kind of want to set up. So let me pull this up for just a second here. And I'm going to go ahead and for the work week, I'm going to make my pages now. So what I did is 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right here. I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to repeat that every single day during the week. During the work week, I should say. Not going to do it on the weekend, just the work week. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's what I thought. So there's that mark there. It did bleed through a little bit. I do notice occasionally I do get some bleed through in this particular planner. Nothing that I dislike, but I have noticed occasionally I do get some. And this doesn't have to be super precise. 2, 4, 6. If I was off by a column or whatever, you know, I'm not putting anything that needs to be measured by columns in here. I'm just kind of dividing my task list from my notes for the day. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in on each of these days. So we have notes. Because again, I want to be ready on Monday for the whole week. I don't want this to have to be something I do every single day. So we're just going to get it all ready to go. For the whole week. So we will do Monday in that color. Let's do Friday in that color. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing and I'm not writing out of frame. One of the nice things about kind of moving into this for work is that I'm getting to really use the daily pages the way I think I might use them. And then I'm going to have to see what I want, what I feel like I want on this page. I'm not sure yet. But here we'll use this maroon color to make our tasks. Now I typically like an Alistair method because I don't like having to write things over and over again. However, for this job, I think I'm going to stick with, in the beginning anyway, having daily notes and tasks. Because most of the projects, you know, I want to get them done that day. So I think that'll be okay. But if that changes, you know, I may change things up next week. Who knows? As this job evolves and I really kind of figure out what my tasks are, what my job looks like on a week-to-week basis, I will probably refine what this looks like. But for right now, I just need a place to capture tasks, a place to capture notes on each one of the days. So we'll use those, and then this kind of dark color here. And that way they will match our colors for the week. And tasks. Now what I often find, if I don't use this page for what I'm writing here, in my main book, I will frequently then I do want to kind of draw the line between the two. I might wipe this out if I want to use it for something else. And that's fine. But, or I might just leave that and do something else with the page if I don't use it for that intended purpose. I find that it doesn't really bother me if I have the setup and I end up putting something else below it. It just shows me as I go when I go back and look at it that I didn't really have a lot of this type of work information on that day, and so I used it for something else. There's nothing wrong with that. When I go back and look, sometimes it's nice to see that I had some work days that didn't have a really heavy, intense task and note load. Although, you know, maybe it just means that I was so overwhelmed that I didn't use the paper at all and I did everything digitally. So we've got notes, we've got tasks, we've got a line between the two for all the days in the work week, and then nothing on Saturday and Sunday. And we also, because of the way this book is designed, we have this blank page here. So of course I can do whatever I want in there. If I only use half a page, I could put some stickers in the bottom half because I still have plenty of stickers on this roll. So I can do some nice, you know, cute stickers throughout. In fact, what if we had this witching it up? So maybe I can put this in the corner here. I thought that would be cute to use, and then I didn't really have a place to use it on the full page, so let's go ahead and put it over here. Is it gonna come open? Oh, there we go. Okay, it's gonna come all as one. Yikes. Witching it up. All right. Again, having extra pages means that you just get to use these stickers more. That got waffly. So let's fix this. Okay, we'll lay that down better. There we go. And put this cute little guy down here in the corner. All right. Maybe I'll use this page to figure out what I want to bring for the week, for the food, that kind of thing. Got our black cat in our books. This was a little big for what I needed, but this will be perfect on this page. Now, normally, if I didn't have this extra page, I would not be putting these in ahead of time. I would wait to put these in, but because I have this extra page, I can go ahead and do this. And let's put the star moon again. We have another one of these just in the corners. So there we go. We've got this page that we can put something on, maybe not. Maybe we'll end up with, in fact, we are going to end up with the haunted house because I'm going to put down right now. Because I know I'm not going to use this page for too much. Because I know that. I'm going to put down a little bit of decor. That way I don't feel pressured to come up with something for this page. It's just kind of a decorative page to start the week. So there we have it. We have our decoration. And we are set to go. Again. Because weren't we set to go before? I think we were. Then we just changed things up a little bit. So again, I can add some more decor. It'll allow me to use some more stickers and have something a bit more decorative. But this is our week. Very, very cute. I'm very excited to get to use this particular week. And then again, as we get into the week, we have a page for just general notes, a page for specific project notes and tasks for work, notes, tasks, or notes and tasks, notes and tasks, notes and tasks, notes and tasks for the week, and then nothing for the weekend. Maybe we'll end up doing something fun and I can use this for some memory keeping. Because now that I have moved into this for work, I am definitely going to be keeping this book on my shelf along with my sterling ink. So as you can see, much more decorative in the end than this one. This one felt cute, but again, I'm locked into these kind of stickers that I put in at the beginning, and I wish I hadn't done that because look how cute this all works. And having just some of these other, getting to use some of these other stickers sometimes, or just having space. You know, I could have put this somewhere else if I had the space. So hope you guys enjoyed that plan with me, and I know I will be enjoying using this going forward this week. So I will see you later on in the week for something on Wednesday. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.